Oh, hello. There we go. Both are live. So let's see here. Get this all shared out. Can we talk for a minute? Can we talk?
I'm so frustrated because now this curl.
Hold on. Same here. Same here. Same here. Definitely one of my all-time favorite songs. All right. We are live. We are live. Incredible morning, working while listening. Hello, Akrisha. Thank you for the peacocks. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Ty, of course. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So today I'm trying to stand up. I need to stand up more at my desk. I purchased a desk so that I can stand up at it. All right. But most times I'm not standing up at my desk. Just to kind of not always be sitting. But hello, everyone. Incredible greetings. How y'all doing? Oh, Lord, as Wendy Williams would say. On this good old Thursday, feeling good this morning. Some of you guys have heard me talk about it. Like I'm in what's called the morning meetup. And today was one of like the little breakout room sessions where we basically just kind of communicate and chit chat. And okay, so no tea, no shade, right? I love y'all. I promise you I do. I love my creative community. But I like being in that like communities like that where people actually speak up. Sorry. We have so many live sessions and it's like pulling teeth to get people to speak up. So it doesn't even matter that most of the time it's like the same people that speak up, but at least they do. But you know, I like when we do like the little breakout rooms because it's a lot of times different people than who we typically see or hear from. And I always like those sessions. And it was just a great session for like a great moment for me because I am going through a transition, right? Transitioning from what I have known to be my reality and to be true for 10 years and taking a whole new direction, right? So I'm not pivoting. It is essentially changing your business. It is essentially like me letting go of the way that I operated before. And just embracing the change, because I've been struggling with it, still struggling with it. I'm not going to say that I'm not struggling with it. And that's kind of the, can we talk honestly moment, because although my struggle right now and the thing that I'm struggling with and I'm trying to come to grips with might be different, I know that there are so many of you guys who experience kind of the same thing. Like, it's, you're in a weird place and you may feel like no one understands, because it may not be like their issue may not be exactly like your issue, but the emotions, I promise you, are the same. The fear is the same. The apprehension is the same. The anxiety is the same. And that's where I'm at right now. And I know that there are so many of you that can relate as well. So, being in an environment where people kind of speak up and they're willing to be vulnerable and talk about those things is very, very refreshing. Um, Hold on. Sorry, I gotta put my phone on do not disturb. I'm gonna keep getting notifications. Um, but yeah, so it's not easy. Like, it really, really, really isn't easy um to go through it. And I know that, like, so I'm gonna try and do this where, just to kind of help and encourage you guys. Although, like I said, my situation and my change is a little bit different. I think that, it's still relatable and it still will resonate. So, yeah. Rochelle says, I totally understand. I'm in the midst of making some changes to my business as well. And change can be scary. And what I want to kind of encourage you through, like, whatever changes you might be experiencing, is change doesn't equal failure. And a lot of the times, most people make changes when something isn't quite working out. It's not what they expected, it's not how they want it to be. And there's normally some negative thing around it. And we get kind of scared. We want to hide, we want to hide. You don't want to feel like a failure. And there are times where people will say, like, oh, if you're making this pivot, or they're like, you're pivoting because you couldn't make X, Y, and Z work. And sometimes that is the case. And it's smart to know, like, when it's time to, I personally don't always subscribe to, like, the terminology or the phrase of pivot. Um, because, like, I think of, like, in sports term, and then, like, like your pivot foot, and it's just kind of like turn. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to fully change direction, because sometimes people just pivot just to kind of fool people, the way that, like, it's just weird for me. Like, and then I apply science to it. So I believe in just changing. Like, if whatever you're doing and whatever course you were on, something happens and it doesn't work and you have to redirect, that's a new direction. You might reach the same destination. Like, if you put something in GPS, right? You're driving and then an accident happens and it tells you to reroute, right? So you can reroute, but it's taking you in a new direction. Will you still get to the end point? Yeah, but it required a new direction. So it's like identifying what is that end point. If that end point is simply success, doesn't matter which avenue you take to get there. And if you have to reroute, it's not necessarily failure. Some people need to learn to reroute and change direction and learn when to let things go when they're on a high. I say that about my son all the time. My son played football 1 year and 1 year only. That year they went undefeated. They were Super Bowl champs. And when I tell you, MJ has never played organized football ever since, it's like, I'm going out on top. He can say, like, when I played football, I was completely undefeated. I was undefeated and won the Super Bowl. Son went out on top. He didn't wait until he didn't like football anymore. He was on a losing team. He literally went out a winner. And it's okay to do that. But I feel like most of the people I come across and then I have contact with, it's that feeling of, I have to change because something failed. And there is embarrassment in that sometimes. There's some shame in that. Especially when you are someone that like people have seen your success like live and in color. They've seen it in real time. And when you have to make changes, you start to worry about like that becomes another stressor. What are people going to think and this, that, and the third? Um, Especially when they don't know the ins and outs. They don't know what you go through. They only get to see a snippet of what you put out there. Um, and so when you have to make changes, whether it's business or personal, it's that fear of judgment. It's that fear of judgment. So she says, change is what people fear the most, but change is what produces growth. Yes, definitely, definitely, definitely does. Like I said, even on the personal side, I've had this conversation with I've with my husband. We're not, and we should not be the people who we were when we met. What was that now? 18 years ago? Yeah. I mean, as a mom, my son tells me all the time, I'm soft with Zion Imani. I was a new mom. I didn't know, like, I did things that, I'm used to seeing, and I knew that it didn't make me feel great the way that I was like disciplined or like, just certain things that happen, and, how we vow to never ever do that. And I kind of sort of did. There's no manual that comes with being a parent. Every single kid that you have, you don't know them. Like, it's crazy. You carry a person for whatever the time frame is. I don't like to say 9, 10 months, because some people have their children earlier than that and they're fine. My youngest son is a preemie, but you carry a child to life, right? Even though they're your children. As a woman, your children are the only, like, they know you from the inside. They've heard, like, they literally can hear your heartbeat from the inside. There's no one else can like say that except for your children, like, to really be a part of you. And with all of that, growing them, nurturing them, all that, you still don't know them when they are born. You don't know this person. You don't know how their brain is programmed, what their personality is going to be, what is going to be their fears, what's going to be. You are learning this person, and you're now learning yourself as a parent. Like, I was just was a single. I know myself as a daughter. I know myself as a sister, as a cousin, as a friend. I knew myself as a girlfriend, but I didn't know myself as a mom. And it took a minute to kind of get it right. And even now, it's still some things that I'm going to mess up on. And I'm grateful for my children, because in other parts of my life, it has made me accept or be okay with, if you mess up, it's okay. Until, you're no longer breathing, you have an opportunity. As someone that experienced a heart attack and not knowing if I would be here, being grateful for every moment, and every moment that you are here, like, hey, it's another day to not necessarily right your wrongs, or like things that you may have regret, but it's just to not have that be the lasting memory, the last thing. So like in business, like going through this transition, it's pretty difficult. Although I know what I'm capable of. I know what I love, but I feel like it doesn't love me back. And after going through a heart attack, I'm trying my best. There's so many other things in my life that could stress me out. I'm trying my best not to let the business be that thing anymore, and being okay with starting from zero. Starting from zero is scary. It's scary, y'all. It is really, really, really scary. Every day is a chance to start fresh. So yes, I still will be teaching. Definitely will. Um, I'm just not. I'm not sure if it will just be to the creative space, like those who are in the creative space. If I'm being honest, it feels really unappreciated in this space sometimes. Um, it's a lot of, I get the phrase of, it's enough money out here for everybody and we should be able to help one another. I get that. it just seems like from the people that God have put in my path through not doing I'm not running ads, I'm not doing giveaways, I don't have this rags to riches story. So with all of that, other than just me presenting the knowledge base that I have, the skills that I have, the people that have come across my platform, a good majority of them, or I would say who come across my platform, the people that I've come across and then trying to help, it's wanting more free help than anything, it's like wanting me to be their savior, but that doesn't help my family, doesn't help me to reach the goals that I have for savings for my kids, to be able to never being um God willing, not ever being in a position where I'm fearful of not having a roof over my head and being able to put food on the table, things of that nature. And also still be able to have, give my kids the things that they want versus, not just the things that they absolutely need. I'm very, very grateful for that I've had some success. But to continue to give them the things they want. As a parent, I would, I like being able to give my kids the things that they want, the desires of their heart, not just the things that they need. And I'm pretty sure every person who has children, every person that's living, I mean, even for yourself, you want to be able to have the things that you desire, and not stress about just wanting your desires, the things that you, like I said, the things that you want. But it's always like, I hate that term, gatekeeping, and I'm tired of having to fight and battle against that mindset. It is draining, y'all. When you go and you have so much to give, it's like you want to be able to help, and you're not even trying to charge your arm and a leg. Then that's like a whole nother part of this where, because you're like, I want to share my knowledge. And if enough of you come together to pay for this knowledge, I will be okay. Y'all can get what you need. It's going to turn into money for you. And hey, we all come by. That's how we all make money together. You pay me to be able to teach you the things that you don't know, the way that your brain may not work. It might be those little things, and you just don't know them, and you're going to get help from somebody who God said, I want to put this in you. I want you to have this information and be able to utilize your gifts. And a lot of people don't value that. They don't value putting a price to that, but then they want your knowledge to put a price to whatever it is they're going to sell. And that becomes this really hard battle of fighting against, feeling judged, or someone's like, oh my God, you're just money hungry. You just want this. You're a gatekeeper. Why can't we, if you're doing like, it's not going to hurt your pockets. Well, guess what? I stopped doing the things of like making a shirt, making a tumbler, making, party favors. I literally stopped doing that to dedicate time to teach others my skill. So if I don't charge for that, then I'm not making money. Like, that's the thing that people don't understand. And then it's like, when you are actively doing it, if you're how I was, busy, like really, really doing the thing, it's really hard to stop to teach someone else, because they see where you're at and don't realize all the others, like everything else that got to this point. And it's like they're in a rush to learn where you're at. And when you like, for me, why I had to stop, it's like, I can't just teach you like the things that you see now. I can't just start you here. You're going to be, this is why y'all are freaking confused. You're trying to jump in the deep end of something instead of learning how to swim and hold your head above water in like the shallow part. You're in the deep end of things and you wonder why you're drowning. You can't figure anything out. It's like you're overwhelmed because it's something new. When new things come about now, it's not this like large learning curve for me, because I realize that just extensions of the things that I've learned before. But in 10 years of teaching this, I have had so many people where they want to be exactly right. They want the exact knowledge that I have now, and they don't want the before. Like, they don't want you to give them a detailed breakdown of the who, what, when, where, why, of how you're going to do this. Just show me how to do this. You show them how to do it, and it's like, wait, but this didn't work. And then they come back for more questions. but they want you to answer those questions like I can't. It's so hard. Like I love it. I love what I do, but that part makes it so hard. And then the AI part of it. Some people make you feel like if you don't adjust with the changes and things of that nature, that you won't be successful. I've seen firsthand where there are those who don't need all of the splashes and the extra and the AI this and the AI that. Like if it was simply colors and text, that's all they want for their business. That's all they want for like marketing things. And that is where I am most comfortable. I'm becoming more and more uncomfortable with, like a better word, it's the craft industry, because it's like everybody wants everything extra. And that's just not me in a sense. So I'm losing myself. Like I feel like I've literally been diagnosed by doctors. I was in the military. My anxiety is always through the roof. I'm like, I feel like a crazy person sometimes, because it's like, it's just frustrating. It's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. And they'll tell you, don't talk about the struggles like while you're in it. But y'all know I'm a rebel. I don't listen to what my, hold on. I'm gonna tell how I'm gonna tell you show you how bad this is, right? I'm gonna go to this post that my cousin made. Hold on. THRESA. Okay. Hold on. Where's her post? Hopefully she didn't delete it. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. So my cousin asked, at what age do y'all start giving baby cereal? My grandma definitely would tap them newborn bottles at about 2 weeks old, right? So I went in and I put 6 months. So my cousin said, you can't be related to Petronia. That's our grandmother. Rest her soul. But then again, I forgot you do everything by your own books. Can't even say the doctor's books because you don't believe ish they be saying anyway. And then here go my other cousin. Yep, Shakeya, you go by you go by books, your own books. Like it's so bad. It is so bad. And I know it is. It's not that I'm not coachable or teachable. My coach in golf will tell you I'm very teachable. I listen to him and your girl won. It's not that. It's just the way that my mind works. Like I'm just a rebel. I'm gonna always okay, I'm gonna figure that out, but I'm gonna figure out a different way of doing it. I gotta put a little Shakeya spin on it in everything that I do. So yeah. I don't like listening to what people say. So they say don't talk about it like while you're in. I don't look. There are people that need to hear it in real time to know that it is not just them. I feel like my anxiety is so heightened because it's like feeling like, am I the only person that's going through this? When you don't have a support group. Now, like let's say once you've identified that you have a problem, and like there's all these anonymous, like there's all these support groups, but like in this whole business thing and really talking about just your not failures, but just things that didn't go as expected. It's not embraced. You can't talk about that in real time when you are some like to your audience. And I can talk about it and I have like other counterparts I can talk about it with, but for me it's so weird because I'm considered an educator and a teacher. You start to wonder if you talk about your not so favorable moments and the things that are not going as planned, will your audience then feel like, well, what am I learning from you for if you ain't got it together, right? It's this unrealistic feeling that you have to be perfect in order to teach others. And well, more so not just to teach others, but to have people pay for the information. And it's like, I'm not struggling. This information I'm giving to you, I'm not struggling in that area. It might be some other thing, which is why I stick to what it is that I teach. But me being in the rooms, being in the groups, like really being in the groups, me having conversations with people, me talking to people and like just taking the time to speak to them via inbox. I've had people that call us because our number's on our website and they think they can call for a therapy session. um, so it's like talking to people, it's like, y'all are just like me. You're trying to figure out how to sell a shirt. Everybody's telling you to digital products, digital products, digital products. They're pushing the digital products, but they don't talk about how hard it is because it is a saturated. Do I believe it's oversaturated where you can't find success? No, you got to be willing to do the things to find your people, but it's something that is saturated and you're pulling from the same lifeline, like in some of these groups. So it becomes harder. And then when you're in these mega groups, and although it's just a small portion, right? If we are really, really honest, the ones that are saying they are thriving and this, that, and the third, it's a small portion because they're willing to like speak up. But there's a lot of people in these groups that are struggling, just like you, that are feeling the same way. They're just ashamed to say it, or they don't want to say it, or the algorithm doesn't always show you those things. I mean, even if it was just 10 people, when you feel like you aren't hitting your strides, two people, three people saying, oh, well, I had these sales can make you feel like you're doing something wrong. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna talk about it. Like I'm going like 26 years in. So don't worry about it right now because 26 years in and I'm still going through it. As things change, you will go through it. There'll be new challenges to face no matter how great you are. Didn't think I would have to compete with AI. I'm like now, I love, oh, speaking of which, I got to make sure that I'm available to go to the Canva keynote. I like Canva. I don't use Canva how most people like in the groups that I'm in, how they use Canva. I use it as a tool for my business for different things. But I have to compete with that where before it was just Cricut and people loved to learn Silhouette Studio because they didn't want to pay for Photoshop. Cricut didn't provide the design resource that you needed, so it was a lot easier for me to get people to want to learn Silhouette Studio. But now with Canva, oh my God, it's like Silhouette is treated like it's Cricut now. So it's something that changed, and it's been a hard adjustment for me because I love Silhouette, and I'm like, for a beginner, a newbie, and it's like some of y'all seem like y'all afraid or ashamed to be called a newbie. Like if you don't know what you don't know, and you might need to start at ground zero, and Canva might be too much for you, and it's okay. But yeah, Canva has definitely, yeah, it's hurt a little bit because I mean I didn't ever feel like I was competing with Photoshop because that's something that you had to pay for, and the price for some seemed pretty steep, and the learning curve is a whole lot steeper with Photoshop. So it's an easier sell to like, okay, let me teach you this programming. You can do this and you can do that. But trying to do that against Canva, different beast, different beast, different beast. And I'm not ashamed to say I have not mastered how to get people to like know that Silhouette Studio is still a great program to learn, and to learn Canva the way that I view Canva. Like finding the people that don't want to use it just for templates and designs, but using it to enhance your business. If you struggle with social media posts, you don't have to make everything this real that you're recording. Like you can make things in Canva and save it as a MP4, which will upload to social media platforms as a reel. It's still content. So I'm struggling with folk who are okay with learning Canva just for content, and for me not to teach you how to make a shirt, how to make a tumbler, how to make a chip bag, how to make a poster. Like it's hard. But know that y'all, like, it's not just you. Everyone goes through it. Even the people that seem like they're at the top, especially if they are afraid of falling, they are struggling probably more than you because they carry a heavier weight, to stay on top because that fall will be long and hard. So they go through a lot more stress and anxiety and make a lot more bad decisions, embrace where you are now. It might seem like you might make some bad purchases, but these are small purchases. Like, I mean, getting a couple blanks here and realizing you don't like sublimation doesn't cost as much as some of these, higher level, like higher operating. It's like they're spending hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, millions of dollars, and it falls apart and they lose that money. That's a lot. Even when you still have millions, like that's a lot to lose, compared to a few dollars. So know that the struggle doesn't stop, once you reach, ooh, that's about to ride. The struggle doesn't stop once you reach the top, but it doesn't stop. Like once you reach that one goal, you should have more struggles. Like it should not be easy. Once you reach that goal, now you need to create another goal that's more challenging and not just sit in the comfort zone. So, let's see what happened over here. In business, a pivot is a significant change in strategy or direction. Again, I still don't like the word pivot. I understand, and I can see that if that definition works for you. I don't do the word pivot in business. I'm change, we're going to start over. We're going to do this, like this. These are the changes that we're going to make, or this is the change that I'm going to make. I personally don't include pivot in my vocabulary for business. It's kind of like I used to tell my cheerleaders, take can't out of your vocabulary. For me, pivot is just not in my vocabulary when it comes to business. Incredible morning. People will always have something to say, good or bad. We have to do what is best. Incredible morning, Crystal. Haha, my mom learned that her kids were different. She told her mom, my oldest one I can sit in the street, she won't move. The second one, you sit her in the street, she has moved before me. And we're old. That's kind of how with like Zani Mani and MJ. But no, so back to it. Like I still want to teach, but I'm not going to teach on the level that I have been. As the young kids would say, or my son would say, you got this, right? Like all the younger creators, those who have newer channels, newer platforms, I'm like, y'all got this. It seems like, people want more of like the new content. And when people say, oh, but you got to give away something for free. I've been giving things away for free for 10 years. Like, it's not like I just came out the gate and just wanted to charge, but those who are new to me, they may not know my free content, or if I say, go watch the free stuff, to them, it's like, oh, this has to be old because it's 10 years old, it's 8 years old, it's 6 years old, it's 4 years old. But I promise you, it's probably better than any of the stuff that's out here. A lot of the stuff that's out here, I don't have the capacity to keep repeating something that I have done for 10 years. So I do want to teach, but I am just changing what I teach. I won't be teaching on the same platform. So these platforms will basically become inactive as far as, they'll become inactive. My sublimation, like honestly speaking, was never supposed to be like what it is. Like it was supposed to be for our brand, but I'm all out of gas for that too. I probably will take a lot of old things and repurpose them in post. Like, so if anything, it'll be that. But I won't be creating like new teachings and things like that. I'm not going to focus online for a lot of the creative things. I want to try and do more in person for the actual production, like, learning how to actually do things and teaching about the different tools. I want to do that more so in person. I want to teach more on the different levels, like even when it comes to like glue guns. If you are just starting out, you're probably going to get a glue gun it's going to get the job done. And people quick to say that, oh, whatever, it works for me, whatever, my little Dollar Tree, whatever glue gun, it does it. I got the little glue sticks. Until you were doing major projects, until you were doing 200 of these, 50 of these, and that's a pain in the butt. Like, I plan to put content out that's about like those little things and have dedicated, like, access to me will be behind a paywall. I don't charge a lot, but it will be behind a paywall. I've spent too much time not enforcing boundaries, and people are just so used to feel like they just have so much access, like free access to me, to where it burnt me out. So I will be teaching, just not in the same capacity. And it's like me being okay with it ain't gonna be free. That was a struggle for me, saying that I don't wanna, I don't want to teach for free. Like, I'm not a charity. Like, it's not charity. I don't have a grant that's paying my expenses for me to teach people for free. So, but I will still be teaching, and I am moving more into the business side of it for not just creatives. I would love for creators, because I feel like I can gear my teaching better because it's like a niche. But if they don't want the information, being in spaces like the morning meetup, going to Printing United Expo, I have a company that is wanting me to build out systems. I have just had a consultation, actually have another one this afternoon for someone else, where it's like helping them with systems. I realized that my skills are useful and valuable, not just to the craft or creator, like, creatives, like, community. And I want to focus more on that. Like, I know that I can be successful in not just catering to crafters or creators and creatives. And that's where I felt like I was kind of holding myself back. But I love this industry. And it's like I wanted to provide my expertise that surpassed the craft and creative to creatives. It's just, I'm trying to put my information in an industry and in a world where it's about DIY. Like, y'all call it DIM. I call it DI. Y'all call it DIY. I call it DIM. It's people who want to do it myself. They want to, I'm gonna do it myself. So if you talk to them about marketing and branding, even myself, it's like, I want to do it myself. I want to be able to try and research the information. I'm going to just take it all on. And it's just hard. So I still will be teaching, just not in the same capacity. I stopped answering inbox questions. That was one change I've made. I can't be my best if I'm just answering free questions all day. Exactly. The term gatekeeper is typically used by people who are entitled and just plain lazy. When someone goes to college and gets a degree, we don't call them and expect them to give us all their knowledge for free. The education that took them years and thousands of dollars to achieve. People, wait, people went to, I guess people went to put in the blood, sweat, and tears that they have. You do enough for free. I do. Yes. So she's I also have anxiety. Oh, I think I'm probably missing comments on my regular Facebook page. Hold on one second. Let's see here. She's like, yes, I go back and look at older content on your channel all the time. That's what I said. I'm like, God has been showing me that most of the time I'm getting a comment, like when I see my my notifications and it's like someone liked a video, someone commented on a video. It's been a lot of the older stuff. And I feel like that was God telling me, like, it's okay. Like, your old stuff, like, those are gems, those are valuable. The people will come, they will watch that stuff. Don't be afraid to, just have those stuff. You don't always have to create new things. I said that in the morning meetup today. There's a lot of people in there that always say, oh, I'm struggling with content. I don't post enough. And every time I have the privilege of speaking to someone directly about content, their thought process is they have to create new content. When I'm talking to creative business owners, it's like, the frustration of, oh, I didn't get to take a picture of this order. They're trying to take a picture of every single order, not in a way to document it, like, hey, I mailed out your order. It's like wanting to make these pictures so super perfect and have, okay, I can't do it. I tried to stand up. I got to sit down. My knee is starting to hurt. I guess I got to also get this weight off. But they're not trying to take a quick video for their own purposes in case they ever have to defend a chargeback. It's like trying to figure out how to also, you know, multi-purpose this where it can be used for content, which means it needs to have great lighting. It needs to be in a specific spot. That is putting a lot of pressure on yourself. If you don't have a dedicated space and that you're going to take pictures in, you're trying to find a little place here or there. If you haven't figured out where the perfect lighting is, it's going to make it hard. If that's something that you want to do and you know for sure that your mindset, how you are, you want to take amazing pictures and videos of your things, of every order that you have, then you need to carve out a specific space. You need to make sure that you are investing in proper backdrops. You may not be able to DIY it because that's going to take away time from your orders. You may have to take some of that profit and truly invest in your business, not in another machine, not in another class. Sometimes like they have like the replica boards. They're expensive as crap, but they are ready to go. They are sturdy. You don't have that glare on it because when you DIY it, a lot of the cheap stuff is like glossy. And then when you take pictures, you have this glare. Then you don't know how to edit pictures. You don't know how to edit out that glare. You don't know how to adjust the tones and the colors. So you need to invest in something that's going to at least eliminate some of the extras that you have to do. But if you're not willing to pay or invest the time to carve out and set, like, no matter what, the rest of your room, the rest of your area can be complete chaos. But it's like this path to get to this photo station needs to be clear. I need to have this area that I'm going to take these pictures in. That area needs to be clear. That's only for the ones where, you are just adamant on taking these perfect pictures for social media. You need to make sure that you have a place to do it and you're not scrambling every single time to find a place to take the pictures. Or just take it, like I said, if you just want it for chargeback purposes, I don't want to show this, but I'm going to show this. Don't judge. I need to sweep. Okay. Don't judge me. But like, I just had to do this one. Now I know how to go in, remove the background. I'm going to make this look amazing. Y'all will see it now, but technically you won't see, like, it's just propped up. It's next to my couch. It's a shirt or something over there, but I know how to design it and I'll make it look like something by removing it, removing the background. But I was okay with, like, I just wanted to take the pictures to show that it was completed. It was done. No one can say, like, although this client, I definitely not worry about, they're going to come pick it up. They can't say they didn't get it, Like, I'll do things where my area is a mess, but if I'm having to defend myself for a chargeback, you think I give a dang if that rep sees that I had trash and paper everywhere? Look, I just need you to see that I did what I was supposed to do. It got shipped. This is how it was sent out. Release my money back to me and take this darn charge off. You think I care that they can see all of my mess? Absolutely freaking not. But would I put that same video or pictures out on social media? Because I don't want that to represent my business. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you're stressing yourself out about nothing. Like, nothing. It's just crazy. Hold on. So wait. I just need to learn how to do the knockout method. I want my glitters to touch the shirt instead of each other. This method takes me out. Well, one is probably because you're calling it the wrong thing. So if you're researching, and because crafters will go and create their own names, and like just content creators will create their own names for things, when you look for knockout, they're like all these other things where it's like cutting something. It's so many ways for like knockout. You're just removing the bulk. That is literally the easiest thing. Like, if that is all you want to do, it just needs to be an SVG, and you literally select it all, and there's one button. So I'm not sure where the issue comes in at, which is why I created the Creative Lounge. We were meeting multiple times per week, every single week, to give people an opportunity to come and ask their questions. I get it. If you could not come to every single session and sit down for an hour and a half every single session, but I was trying my best to create multiples where it's like you can come and ask these questions and y'all just close lips. I'm giving people the opportunity to fully express what their issue is. I allow people to share their screen. Show me what it is that you're doing. Show me where the disconnect is. Let's work through this. And guess what? You will have this playback to go back to where you can watch it over. You can take your notes and figure it out. People weren't taking advantage of that, right? Because if the issue is just knocking it out, removing the bulk so that everything touches the shirt, it's literally one tool and one tool only. Select it, subtract all. It's gonna, but now you have to group it together, you have to separate it. So is it really that you don't know how to do the knockout, as you put it, method and remove that? Or is it, what do I do after I select everything and I hit subtract all? That's going to create cutouts. It's going to make it it's going to make it like a puzzle piece. What do I do with this afterwards? How do I now group together the reds, the blues, the whites of this so that it all fits back in together? If you know how to do that, and it's not necessarily how to do it, it's not how to regroup them together. I know how to cut it. Is it now, well, when I go to line everything up and press on the shirt, well, how do I know where to put it at? How do I know the spacing? Then does that mean you now need to go back to designing and learn about registration marks? Like, well, I call them alignment marks. How to create a line. Do you need alignment marks? Do you need to know the strategy to where if you are using alignment marks, how to make them not permanent on your shirt? So there's layers to this, but until you actually go deeper than the surface level question or problem, and you are really explaining it and being in an environment where someone is not going to cut you off and they're going to give you the opportunity to express, this is what my issue is. And then when they ask you questions, not be frustrated that they didn't give you an answer, but they ask you more questions to figure out. Let's figure out exactly where the issue is. And if it's a combination of these things, that means you now need to take a step back. And although we want to make this really like elaborate design with this technique, it might be best for me to turn down those orders, turn down those projects, or me not worry them. Let me start at square one. Let me do it on a smaller scale, then get a little bit more complicated, until I reach the knowledge base, like that level where I can do this with my eyes closed. But I personally, like, it's not like, I know something like, oh, that's not, I've been in this too long. I've been in this game too long. I ask too many questions. I am nosy by default. Like, I'm just nosy. So I'm seeing it. And when people see things a certain way, they want to get to that. It's like, as adults, yes, you have more, what they say, it's like you have more time behind you than like in front of you. So you feel like I don't have the time. I can't afford to go back to the beginning. I can't afford to learn the prerequisites. I can't afford to take it little by little by little to build up to this. I see it every single day where the majority of the people don't want to go back to square one. They want a beginner friendly way to build a house. Can you teach me as a beginner, the beginner way to do open heart surgery? Can you teach, like, who can break this down? I'm a beginner, but can you teach me how to fly a plane? Can you teach me how to, what's another thing? Like, you want to do all of these big things as a beginner. That ain't a beginner task. And y'all need to be okay with somebody telling y'all that's not a beginner task. There's no way for me to teach you this as a beginner. If you want to learn this as a beginner, I need you to go back to the beginning stage. You got to go back to square one. Okay? Teach me the beginner way to build a plane. I don't know nothing about electronics. I don't know anything about engineering. I don't know anything about tech, like the technical stuff. Like I don't know any of that. But teach me how to build this plane so that I don't have to go wait at an airport. That is what I'm experiencing so much in this industry. And it's becoming a little frustrating. Um Sounds like you manifested. Now make it work and it will all work out. Put your higher source guide. Wait, put your higher source guide. Wait, or let your higher source guide you and it will work. I'm guessing that's supposed to be let instead of put. She says, I'm not sure where my problem is either with this method. Are you in the creative lounge? Do you come to the mini sessions? Like I used to have sessions in the daytime. I used to have them in the afternoon, like in the morning. I had sessions like scheduled for the afternoon. I had sessions scheduled for the evening, like literally making myself available for whatever time frame you had. I had sessions on the weekend to where we could have walked through and figured out exactly where it is. It is okay. I promise y'all, it is okay to say, I can't figure this out on my own. I need some help. And sometimes you're gonna have to pay for that help. I can't figure out as smart as I am in business. I had to go and I'm like, I can't figure this out. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know why I can't get people to leave reviews. I don't know why I can't get people to interact with me and engage with me online. Yet I see other people like, oh, it's you're on early. You're on, I'm at work. But then I'm on people's live videos or I'm in Zoom sessions and it's people being very active. So that lets me know it's not that in that they're at work and stuff and like, okay, this time frame, people are not there are people that are active because I've been on live videos and the comments are flowing, the comments are going. So there's not a lot of truth to that just because you're going live in the daytime, people are working, people can't respond because and yeah, it may not be the same people, but that just shows me that there are people who can engage and who are willing to engage at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, lunchtime, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, even if it's in the evening. There are people that are willing to engage. I haven't done something for those people to find me. And that is a struggle for me. Like, what do I do? What am I doing wrong? Outside of ads or giveaways, what am I doing wrong? Is it my personality? Is it because I'm more straightforward and people don't want that until they need it? Am I not fun enough? Am I not loud enough? I used to think that was a very loud person. Am I not loud enough? I mean, do I feel like, am I stuck up? Like, I've literally had people, I'm like, can you just go and look at my content? Go and watch my classes. Am I doing something wrong in my classes? Is my class boring? Is it? And they'll come back and be like, no, this was amazing. Like, you do all this for this amount. Like, girl, maybe you're not charging enough. So when you like, I hate feeling like the thing that people put out is true, that if you don't like, if your prices are too low, you're going to attract people who are always problems. Because my business, even in event planning, was about help, like providing good quality work. Now, I'm not gonna give you a $10,000 party and your budget is only $100. Like, I'm gonna give you what can fit within your budget, and it's really, really amazing. But I'm like, that's always been me. Like, I didn't want to have to charge like an arm and a leg. Did I have the skills to? Yes, but that wasn't. When people say, what's your purpose, what's your calling, and it was, when I started event planning, it was to create amazing birthday experiences. I used to host these parties. I'm very unique in my ideas. So I had, like, we didn't play like the traditional musical chairs. Like, I put a twist on that. I used to make games out of other things. Like, they wouldn't even, if their parent couldn't afford like a bounce house, this and a third, it didn't even matter. I'm gonna have these kids so wore out and they're gonna have so much fun. The adults used to have fun, and that is how I got into hosting adult ones, because the parents that were at the kids ones, hey, do you do baby shower? Do you do this? You do that? And the way that I come up with games, it was like, it was amazing. And so I was able to do these things because, and like they were able to keep their party more affordable because they didn't have to worry about a bounce house, a rock wall, a train, a clown, a balloon person, this, and then like, all of these organic balloons that people want to charge $800 for, and the balloon thing is like this big. Man, if you don't get you some columns and an arch or something, like it's still gonna look great. I service those who were okay with like, I want it to look as great as it possibly can with the budget that I have. And that is who I worked with. When I teach now, if I could teach the masses, in my mind, I don't have to make, let's say, $100,000 charging 100 people $1,000. I can get there by charging, by teaching 1,000 people and they pay 100. Or if I could ever reach 10,000 and they're paying, what would that be, $10 or whatever? Like that was my mindset. I wanted to be able to share. I was more so concerned about volume and the number of people and being able to reach my financial goals based off of the number of people that I was teaching, not just chasing the dollar amount. But when you go and you price, I've heard somebody say, oh, well, I'm not going to take your class serious. Like it can't be that valuable because it only costs this amount. But then you have people whose skill level and whose knowledge base is nowhere near mine. Yes, I'm going to be cocky about it. I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it. They can't touch me. But because they put this high price, people's minds have been conditioned to think that because it costs more, it's worth more. And there are so many people who tell me, oh, I got so much more from this. But for some reason, I can't get y'all to say that outside of the session at the end when I'm not recording. You want to tell me how great I am? We can put that on the recording at least. But yeah, so it sucks. In Now I forgot what I was going to say, but whatever. I'll go back and listen to it. But yeah, come to the sessions so that we can walk. That's what it was. I can really walk through. Like I keep it very, very affordable. And I know I was saying, I do the sessions all these different times to where it fits you. Like I'm not just on at one time of day. So I'm affordable. I make sure that you can attend, like I fit within your schedule. Like there's something that you can attend within your schedule. And I'm also giving you the space to fully ask your question without judgment, without rushing you. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand with all of that why I'm not the go-to, She's like, these are just my shirts because I'm not putting anything in atmosphere looking crazy. And that's also that's not healthy. That's really not healthy. How are you going to get feedback? How do you know it looks crazy? How do you know that there's not someone, however you are making it right now, that there isn't someone that's exactly what they were looking for? But you're too afraid to put it out. It looks crazy in the atmosphere. Have you seen some of the artwork that goes for hundreds of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, and it makes absolutely no sense except to the person who found value in it? So you might need to put things out there for people to critique, for them to give you feedback. A lot of y'all are afraid of feedback. It's not comfortable. I go and I push back on feedback, but I'm also one where when I'm in my quiet space, I can reflect on it. And some things I'm like, no, I was right and I'm not going to change on it. And then there's others I can see where I can make certain adjustments and things like that. Feedback is not great. It's not, when it's not what you wanted. Like sometimes we ask for feedback. What we really want is validation. Like, okay, yep, it's amazing. It's great. And not really looking for that. Well, I like because it helps me. I changed my classes off. Like I was persistent. No, Let me know what it is that you don't like about my classes. And so many people, oh, it's great, it's great. And as much as like the accolades are great, I felt so unfulfilled. And I'm like, I want somebody to really like be completely honest with me. I know everyone couldn't have enjoyed this class. And then it was someone that was bold enough to say it. And then it kind of started a whole little chain reaction. I'm like, all right, all right, all right, all right. But it was like at one point when it came to classes, I did not have a full on structure. Like I just wanted to teach. And in my mind, I'll teach forever. So the class would go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like, without warning. Because I didn't want anyone to feel like they were left behind. So as we were going through lessons, I would, if they shared their screen or they had questions, like I took too much time answering their questions, which made the class for everybody else who did not need that much hand holding, it made the class really, really long for them. And they did not like that. So they were like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to attend live classes. So they would purchase the class, but then they would not attend live because they didn't want to sit through all of that. They can watch the playback and just go to the parts that they needed. But even that wasn't like enough, because to get to the parts that they needed, they had to go through so much other stuff. So then I adopted a new way of doing my classes where if you did not want to sit through all that, you did not have questions, you just need to see the method that is in the beginning. And then the rest of the class are for those who actually needed the hands-on help. They needed to ask questions in real time. So I had to learn, I had to develop. It wasn't perfect, but I would not have known to make those changes if I didn't put it out when it was, as your word, when it looked crazy. Make sense? It's like, you are right. I enjoy every class I have purchased and I go back to them if I run into an issue. Are you closing all your groups as well? I would, and if I'm being really, what's the purpose of my groups? Like, let's be for real. Like, I can be honest with myself. My groups are, what's the purpose of them? Y'all barely post. It's like they just want it to be a group where I guess like hope like for my information to be in there, but I've never been that person. Like my platform has never been this. I'm going to put all my information just in a group. I've always gone like live in all of my public spaces. So I think a lot of people just see my group as a place where I'm just promoting myself. And that was never it. Like I wanted people to ask questions, and I may get a question once a week. I'll get somebody posting their work and showcasing what they made, whether they learned from me or not, once every 2 weeks. So I'm literally asking myself, what is the purpose of these groups now? Why do I have them open? Why do I like? So I'm still on the fence. Like if I can get someone to just make sure that nothing crazy happens in it and it's not overrun by spammers or people saying just buy my stuff, because it's like I'm in there now. So I'm able to control that and it's not be overrun by it. But if it seems like a group that's not monitored, then it will just get out of hand. So I am on the fence about that because yeah, I just don't see a purpose for my groups right now. So yeah. Is that my refrigerator that I hear beeping? Am on the fence about that because ooh, yeah. I didn't realize my lips were so dry. Hold on. Let me see. All right, there were 5. My bad. Thank you for letting me know there was no audio. Um, so I was just reading through the comments that Sparky, she was just like, I missed the transition, what's going on? There is a lane for the plain and the busy when it comes to designing. I totally feel you on it. I totally feel you on it when the AI thing. Every client doesn't like busy. Canva for content sounds like a bonus. You are top tier with your knowledge and what you teach. I give you your flowers while you're here to receive them. I understand the frustration of not having folk tune in. I can't financially do classes at this time, but I got you on the reviews or whatever you need. The group for reference and knowledge. I come back to your group to search things I may need answers to. Keep the groups. So I was saying, the same way that like I'm here because I use StreamYard, it's on like this is on my YouTube. So there again, there's really no need for the group if people aren't participating in it, because the information that I provide can be found on my YouTube channels because I'm literally streaming to them as well. I can't go live directly to a group from StreamYard, so it's just something that is shared to the group. And so many people think like when they comment on my stuff, they think that they're in a group, and I'm like, this ain't a group. I think because you guys are so used to craft coaches talking about, oh, my community, my community. And y'all are so used to them just doing things in group. Hello, I'm the rebel, I guess. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm the rebel because I'm the one that, I was a part of the originators of doing these things. I've never been attached to my groups like that. And that probably was the wrong thing. In hindsight, me not cultivating this tight knit group and keeping it in there to have like customers for a lifetime is probably where I went wrong. I don't know that, but I've never did things like just in a group. It's always been on public platforms. My page has always been public. I put stuff on my YouTube. My profile is public. My pages are public. And anytime I do something, I share it to the group. I did try like doing like little Q&As like just in the groups, and those just don't track as well. But I wanted people to post more. They don't do that. So yeah, for me, the groups don't serve, like that's what I mean when I say the groups don't serve a purpose, because that's not the only place that my content lives. Hopefully that makes sense. So can I be very, very honest and transparent? And if you say I can't, I'm going to be. So yes, like we have a session tonight. Tonight is our creative business program. And there isn't necessarily an email that always goes out. I have to have someone come in and figure out, like, I just recently learned if a lot of my students are using Gmail, Hotmail, and Yahoo as the email that they sign up for when they're placing their orders, like to, our news list, like, different like email lists. I can't control, like they decided, especially Google. Google is notorious for putting it in spam promotions or like the other folders. It's not going to inbox. So my unengaged is very, very high. And when like my email addresses are kind of like how they say, like it can be like flagged with like servers like Gmail, to where it goes automatically as a whole, because it's not like when emails are sent, because I'm sending a lot of email from my domain, right, through to ones on their servers. They're picking that up, and it's like, okay, so many of our users are not opening up these emails. So this must be junk, spam, stuff they don't want to see. So it's putting them in spam promotions. So people don't see when I put the email out, even if it's like earlier in the morning. So they're scheduled. If you go into it, you go to the Zoom and you register for it, Zoom gives you the ability to save that to your calendar. And you can then set, do you want to be reminded a day before, 30 minutes before? That is on you. For me to try and send out an email all the time was kind of a burnout. And then it's like feeling like I'm sending these emails out, but people still don't see them. They're not opening them. They still aren't coming to class. So as much as people say they want the email notifications, they just were not getting, like they weren't reading them, or they weren't going to their emails often enough for that to be effective. And then some people will say, well, send a text message. I don't know who told y'all, or if y'all know or not, but text messaging costs way more than emails. The amount of money that you have to pay out for the number of subscribers you have and the number of text messages that you send out is absolutely crazy. It is expensive. Okay, it can be expensive. That's one of the things I'm actually cutting out. I don't do a lot. Like I'm literally paying for SMS messaging and I don't use it. It's a waste in my business. Other than it being a tax deduction at this point, it becomes an absolute waste because I'm not using it. And I could have been, using it, but it's like the way that you have to kind of send it, and like it's just a whole lot of like to set it up. I wish it was more so like I can go on my phone and literally truly text. So whenever someone's sending out these SMS messages, and where life would be so much easier for you if you could just go to your phone and truly like text it out and send it to your list, unless you are on one of those apps that's like a text message type thing. It's not just going, you don't just do it. You have to sit at a computer and you have to go through the whole campaign, and you got to go through this and what's the purpose of it, and like it is a lot to send it out. It's a lot to send out SMS messages, and then like emails, they just aren't responding to it. So I will say I don't send them out. So when you're saying you're not getting notification about class, I will go live before I send out an email. I send out emails and people don't see it, but then if I go live, I'm like, oh, don't forget about this. If I make a post, hey, we have class tonight, then people remember to come. But the schedule was out. I was very, very proactive. I had the October, both dates out. And November's will come actually tonight. November schedule will go up. The ones that are actually scheduled for right now for November, those will go up and you'll have them. You just have to go in yourself and register for the Zooms. And that's going to be the best way to put it on your calendar, because I'm not going to say I'm always sending out emails. There are some people, they live by that. And when it comes to their marketing, they send out email after email after email, text message after text message saying, oh, we're live, we're this, we're that, we're this, we're that. Maybe based off of the number of people they have enrolled, it makes sense. But for me, it doesn't make a lot of sense financially. And I'm about making smart financial decisions in my business. I found a video linked to Canva by searching your group on editing background. I forgot what it was called, but it was easy to find and do. It was to extend the background. For example, if you want to make your header background longer to be able to add more text, it was a very helpful. I'm not sure if that was from me or from somebody else. You say it was a video that I did. And it was, for certain things, especially like if you're in the student union. Now, I'm not sure which group. You have to remember, I also have way too many groups. That's another thing. Like I want to, like as business changed, I was told to have a group for this. You have to segment this. So I had the Silaholics Anonymous group. I have the one that's for Honestly Speaking, when we had the product line, and it was like recommended that I do that. And that was supposed to be just talking about our products, and only so many videos I can do about summation and submating things. And then there's the student union. But there's some other ones too, because there's like the one that was specifically for Essential Solar Studio. I tried to start a Canva group, it just seemed too much. But the student union one, when you are in certain programs, you have access to me to where if you ask a question, I can then answer that for you. As long as I can answer it in 15 minutes or less, I was answering those questions. So that you may have, gotten that because maybe you took a class where you were able to be in the student union. So now you're reaping the benefits of maybe those who are in a different program and like those that are able to ask me questions, and you're just kind of you're able to reap those benefits from that. That's something I can think of like when it comes to it. But I'm not doing that part anymore. Like those type, if it was one of my videos, little quick tips like that, unless you're paying me. And I get it, not everybody can afford it. I understand it. There's content out there. There's other people out there that can teach it. There are resources for you. But for me, even with little information, like little things like that, quick lessons, it's going to be behind a paywall. My paywall is not, I'm not charging hundreds of dollars, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, one of them, like at one point, one of them was $13.65 a month, $15.65 a month. Like right now, it's what the Creative Lounge is what $23.65 a month, I think, or $25.63 a month. To be able to have access to that type of help and information. And if you're in business, if I can't help you make $25 to pay that, then I must be doing something wrong. Yeah, but we definitely have a session tonight for creative business. That's what the Thursday sessions are. Thursday is creative business. We had the session yesterday, Tuesday, for the design lounge. I was not, the attendance could have been better. I'll just say it that way. But yeah. So that was just I count it as a blessing either way. I mean, but it's gonna sound cocky. My videos like that are always going to be helpful. That is the core of who I am, I want to put out helpful information. But at the same time, I have to make sure that I'm putting myself in a position where I can have a savings for my children, even if I don't need the immediate money right now. I got kids to think about. And, in our community, our culture, it's always that we don't, like, every generation has to start from the bottom. We're not providing a nest egg, or we're not providing starter funds. We're not, doing these things for our culture, our community. Like when it comes to, for me, Black and brown people, that, there's this notion that we don't have savings for them, that our children always have to start from ground zero. Do I want my kids to really work? I don't want them to feel like they have a silver spoon in their mouth and like, oh, okay, it's just always mommy, daddy money, because we may not be here, and you have to know how to continue to make money grow. But I don't want to like make it where there's nothing for them, or emergency happens and having absolutely nothing. So I have to make sure that money is always coming in, and I'm not always helping other people make money. That is something I had to learn through therapy. Like, it's okay, Shakeya, to ask for the sale. Like, it is okay. There's a lot of people who are learning just for themselves and they're not looking to monetize it. But I had to also come to grips with, they chose a hobby, or they chose to want to do something that's going to cost them money. They didn't have a problem paying Silhouette America for that machine. They didn't have a problem paying Epson or Canon or Amazon or whoever they got, if it's to Walmart. They didn't have a problem paying for that printer. They ain't got a problem asking you what paper you use. And then when you tell them what paper, they're going to go out and they're going to buy that paper for them to use it. They don't have no problem paying all these people. And the things that they want to do and create, it takes money. It requires funds. And they find the funds to do that. It seems harsh to say it out loud, but it's it's very true. No one is doing anything they're doing it completely free, where they have no equipment, no nothing. They make sure they pay that Canva subscription if they're using that. If it's not the Canva subscription, they pay on their cell phone bill to make sure they have internet to use Canva. They were able to buy a computer. So why, Shakeya, do you feel like you have to take on this of worried about what money they have or don't have? Because people find ways to pay for the things that they want. And I had to really if your knowledge is something that they want, they will figure it out. And if they don't want your knowledge, then they will go find somebody else. And it's okay. Like literally, it took me to go through therapy to come to grips with that. Building your legacy is something me and my daughter were just talking about. You have to do what's best for you. True. Don't confess being that. I know times get hard when it comes to like the health issues and things like that, but try your best not to, confess that. And, if like figuring and sometimes that's what you need to. It may take some resources. You have to find the resources to have somebody that's going to help you and that who's equipped and who may have a plethora of ideas where even if I just find 5365 to have a one-on-one session with the professor, and she is able to help me figure out if it's health things, I can't do this. If it's scheduling, I like my scheduling with my family, I can't do this. What is it that I can do to try and help ends meet? You may need to just figure that out. If you can't do things physically because of health issues, there are so many options. When we think about like the digital product space, I'm going to sound like a hypocrite with this, I know, but even if you had to still spend money to purchase a product that you can sell. Now, it doesn't take a whole lot of money to sell and to market anything that you do, but if you're not willing to put in that time and effort, you can't save both. You cannot save time and money. So if you have a resource that you can get out there, it can make you money, but you're not putting forth the time, finding some type of time, sacrificing something, even if it's time with your kids. Because I may want to or be in a position to maybe pay the value that somebody has set to whatever their done for you service is, and I have to figure it out myself because I do have the skills to do it. I'm just trying to save on time. I've had to sacrifice time with my family, with my kids, not being able to do certain things, not being able to go on certain trips, not being able to plan out things. And you have to be okay with that sacrifice as long as you know and they know it's temporary and they can see the fruits of the labor. Okay, this is why we had to make this sacrifice. But if you need to do it yourself, you are going to have to sacrifice some time. You're going to have to sacrifice some sleep. Don't let it be too much to where you are like me and stressed out. And because you're not sleeping well, it affects your heart. But do it like you're going to have to make responsible sacrifices. Because there's a lot of ways to not be the word that you use, BROKE. There's a lot of ways to not be like that. There are people are spending money for the dumbest freaking ebooks, e-guides, files, like the silliest things. People are spending money on it, but you got to put it out there for them to know that this is like, you can buy this. If you are someone looking for convenience and you're like, I don't want to figure this out, like I don't have the time to figure it out, like I want it where I can just click and go, they exist, but you have to put in the work for them to know that your resource exists. So there's always, if you're willing, there's always to make money. Unless, like you are, I can't even say, even if you paralyzed from like the neck up, your mouth work and somebody can you can still make some money. Like we live in a time, like a generation, all the technology where there are ways to make money. My son makes money selling snacks. I probably shouldn't say that out loud. Well, I'm gonna say where we go every weekend, we restock, and he is able to make money that way. That is what he wanted to do. It was about entrepreneurship for him, having him talk about like business and like setting prices, adjusting and marketing and all these different things. My son has a whole website for it. There are ways to make money. There are kids that where these kids get money from, I don't know, especially the middle school kids. When we go back by the school, the middle school kids, like there's like a couple different like candy lady houses around there. And then there's somebody that comes and she be selling like spicy bowls and all these other things or whatever. them middle school kids be on it. I mean, that lady be bombarded. Both like the candy ladies, like they're not, pressed for customers. And then the one lady that's selling out her trunk, she got a line, like, I mean, droves and droves of kids. So they all making their money. And I mean, when I say they like do, like selling, because kids go in different directions. But them middle school kids be having money. We tried to do it like after school for the high school kids, and the high school kids don't care about stuff after school. But the middle school kids, they be having money. There's ways. Um, the young man, because my son told him about me doing business and helping kids with businesses. He stopped me one day and he's like, I'm on punishment right now. So I can't do it right now, but I want to be able to cut grass and things like that. So he even shot his shot and he's like, you have, cause we have a Durango, and I wanted to know, like, if you would be willing to, like, when I have orders, cause we don't have a truck, but I really want to be able to do this, to drive me to like cut, to put the lawnmower in my truck to be able to go and cut grasses. I was like, oh my God. The fact that he was even willing to ask that and like saw I am connected to I may not have a truck, but I got a friend who he said I could ask his mama. My child know how his mama is. And he asked that. And I said, I'll get with your parents. We'll discuss it. We'll go through the business stuff, how you're going to do certain things and what your schedule will be like, what they're comfortable with, and boom. So even if it's like, okay, you just have to use my truck for now and then figure out, your resources later on if he wants to build that into a business. And my goal in it is just to really teach him how to, yes, you might have to use somebody else's truck now. You have to use other resources. But at some point, if this is what you want to do, you want to build a landscape business as an adult, what you need, like, you may not want to look at the little fancy car, because if you can only afford to get one car, like if you're a senior or whatever and you want to have a car, yeah, you may want to have the nice little ride and that's, the cool car. But if you have a business and you're trying to build a business, it don't matter what anybody says to you. If they clown you because you got you an old little beat up truck, that truck gonna get you from point A to point B. It's gonna get you to school, but it's also gonna get you to those jobs where you can make money. So that's the mindset that I try and help kids with, and like help his friend with, and like I try and help. So there's ways to make money. There's somebody that has a need, and there's ways to make money. You just have to be willing to explore them. You have to maybe sometimes spend money with somebody that's going to help you figure it out, because your mind is so clouded with everything that you have going on that you can't think past what you have going on and whatever your issues are, whatever your shortcomings are. You can't see past that. So sometimes you'll need somebody to come in that can help you like carve out a pathway to where you can see the light. But that is I've been on for an hour and 30 minutes or an hour and 28 minutes. I did not realize it. That's the thing. I get into this and I don't realize how long I'm normally on. Like I get lost in this. I mean, I love what I do. I love being able to share the gifts, and there are words that come out and I get lost in them because I feel like they're not always mine. It's God is trying to like drop them in for me to compute them and say them out. So it doesn't give me time to really think about it. And then now my brain takes over and it's like, wait, how do I make those connections? Because I feel like sometimes I say things that I don't necessarily hear, but it was meant for somebody, right? It was meant for somebody to hear it. If I could have talk radio and just do that, I probably would do it. My mom tells me that like people sometimes like to do a podcast, but it's like me by myself and just talk, but I don't know how to do that. Like y'all see, I keep if you keep seeing my eyes move from the camera, I'm looking at the chat. And although y'all might be just into what I'm saying, I know for me, I need the engagement. I need the responses. I need to see how it's resonating. I need that other point that makes me think about something else. So I personally don't feel like I would do well in talk radio or podcast space where it's just my thoughts, because I like the interaction of people. I literally started what is now a business needing the interaction of people. I was a stay-at-home mom. MJ was what, 3 at the time, it was before he was going to school. And I started doing this, and I started doing live videos because I got tired of just talking to a 3-year-old. And then eventually, he was 4 before he went to pre-K. That is how I started this. I love the adult interaction. I am a socialite. I'm a social butterfly. So I'm always looking for responses. Like, I like the back and forth. So I don't think I would do well in a just talk radio type like podcast. I try and do sessions where there's engagement. I thrive off of engagement. Hello, Eric. How art thou? Welcome, welcome. We are wrapping up. She's loves you for real. You are. Oh wait, I missed some stuff. Hold on. Oh, she's. I know you know. She's. I'm letting others know that your video was helpful and easy to follow, so they will know you know your stuff. Okay, I get it now. All right. Yes, a whole therapy session. I have to have one with you myself. I have to have one. Oh, with myself too. Okay. Girl, you're gonna make me cry. Thank you for the support. You are very welcome. Loves you for real. You are very, very welcome. Anything else that y'all need from me? This was just kind of my, my little brain dump, my honest talk. We talked a little bit in the beginning just about change and the harsh reality of change. Yeah. I'm actually building if you're somebody that wants to build business, and I know that there are a lot of resources out there and they can be pretty pricey. True startup for beginners is something that I do feel like it's a lost, not say art, but it's like a lost area. People don't focus on it. Microsystems and figuring out systems that work for you, because there's a lot that's out there, but figuring out the systems that works for you will be my main focus in 2026. You'll still see me doing like some creative things to close out 2025, but come 2026, when I say I'm going full steam ahead, where Shakeya the Professor will be my main focus, and it's going to be done for you services. It's going to be teaching people about microsystems for your business, like truly going back to how I started. The systems that I use now are not what I started with. When y'all ask people, well, what websites, what systems, what this, what all these things that you use, you may not be ready for it. But there are things that you can do at a beginner level and as a starter level, and then you build to it. And that's what I want to help more businesses. I like creative businesses, but businesses in general, just figure out what's their starting point. A true starting point. Oh, she's like, they get money from their parents, or some of them have older siblings that give them money. My nieces are 13 years apart. The older sister kept the little sister with cash. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I know like that's where they pretty much get money from. But when you hear parents, I ain't got money for this, and like, if you, my son, well, we live in a predominantly Black area. It's Black folks here. So you let the world tell it. We ain't got no money. We penny pinch. We do this. We do that. We complain about everything. Only the Black people or the Black and brown people are complaining about SNAP, and we're the only ones complaining about, healthcare. Dude, you let the majority of the world tell it. We are the ones that's just down and out. But our kids, like, we are able to give our kids, they need some money. Hey, and some of them kids be spending. I get cash app like that, this person sent $10. Dang, that means you bought 5 things from him. You got money. And every day they're buying stuff from him. So all right. So before I close out, I will introduce myself to you. This is Eric. Is it Eric Stephanie? No, Stephanie. I'm not sure what it. I'm sure I'm saying it. So I think one of the NFL teams sponsored a young man in his landscaping business. I think it was the Colts. Don't quote me though on the team. Um, she says inbox me. Okay, gotcha. So what do I do exactly, Eric? So my name is Shakeya, the professor. I have 26 years of experience in the, I guess you would say, like creative space and design space. So I started learning to design and learning things like screen printing, graphic designing, all these different things that I now teach. Well, I was teaching. I started 26 years ago in high school. And as a stay-at-home mom, I started creating videos and things like that just to share with others the things that I was doing, the things that I was creating for my graphics design, not my graphics, my event planning business. I've held a lot of different jobs that can help people in business, experiences that most would not have to understand how business works. Everything from human resources and understanding finances and taxes and inventory and pricing and things of that nature. So I have spent the past 10 years teaching people how to use a really cool program that's called Silhouette Studio. It's the program that is used to control the Silhouette family of machines. However, if you are somebody that's new to designing and you want to make an invitation, a flyer, a tag, a label, a shirt design, a tumbler design, a mug design, a senior poster, a senior stole, sash, like whatever it is, if you're wanting to design those and make those, Silhouette Studio is a program that you can use because it's free. You don't need the machine in order to use it. So I spent the greater part of 10 years teaching that particular program. Am I well versed in Adobe programs like Photoshop and Illustrator? I am. Do I teach them all the time? I don't. And then now with Canva. So I'm just someone that was more so teaching different resources and different ways of making a lot of creative things. I thought I had some more of the stuff around me, but I was in here cleaning up. So I don't see a lot of the things that I have like made, like other than like just showing a cup. Um, and I also teach the business side of things and just giving a real world perspective of what it's like to be an entrepreneur and run business and understanding systems and understanding the complexities of it. That's what I mainly do. And that's the direction that we will go into for 2026. We also have a sublimation paper line. If you don't know what sublimation is, it is used to make things like this tumbler where it's baked into it. Things like this shirt where there's like, you don't feel anything. So we sell a sublimation paper that changed the game because the industry was 400 degrees, 60 seconds. Our paper allows you to sublimate 365 degrees, 30 seconds, and you don't have to have a cover paper on top, a cover sheet on top. So that was a part of like our business as well. We are scaling back on that, and we are now focusing on helping those who want to monetize your skills. So whether it's a side hustle, a full-fledged like business, if you're trying to scale it, you got to start somewhere, like a true starting point, and understanding business and understanding microsystems that you can implement. Will some of them be manually? You have to manually do the work for them. It won't be automation. I know automation is the buzzword, but automation costs. And if you cannot afford automation, you still want your business, your monetize opportunities to run like a well-oiled machine, and you want to present yourself as someone that is professional in what you do. And our goal will be to help others do that. So hopefully that explains a little bit about what I do. If this is your first time here, okay? Does that answer your question? Let me know before I sign off if that answers your question on exactly who I am and what I do. Oh, sidebar. If somebody asks you about what you do and you can't spout it off like that, may not have to be as long-winded as mine was. Work on it. Practice it in the mirror. Record yourself doing it. You have to have so much confidence when someone asks you what it is that you do. Not a little bit of this and a this and a this and a and a and a. You should be able to tell others exactly what it is that you do with so much confidence. So if that's not you, please work on it. If you don't listen to nothing else I said for the past hour and 40 minutes, work on being able to communicate exactly what it is that you do. See, someone said that. I love this group. It's not a group. I'm not even in a group, y'all. Like, for you to comment, that means that you have to be on one of my business pages. We literally just talked about that. There's so many people will go and they'll make comments about like the group, but I don't operate in my groups. Like, I know y'all used to craft coaches being in groups, but you're not in a group right now. You're either on my 365 Creative Academy Facebook page, or you're on the DIY Crafting Network page, because I can see your comment. And then for those over here, you're just watching me on my regular old profile that you can send a friend request to. We were just talking about that everyone assumes like they're in a group, but this is not a group. Like, you'll still be able to access me. And that goes back to are my groups even necessary? Because you're still able to connect with me without being in a group. So are the groups actually necessary? Ooh, like that one. She was like, I missed the live, but a lot of people want a free tutorial instead of being taught, which is what you do. Yes, I am a teacher at heart. I love to teach. I'm constantly asked, are you a teacher? Like when I was like with my kids, oh, you should become a teacher. No, I don't think I could deal with the politics of teaching in the public sector. I'd probably be in jail, or if I would constantly get fired. I would probably snap, because I mean, just from the outside looking in at the politics and the way that schools are run, I would definitely have the district all over me, because I would not give a damn about what the hell they said I had to teach. I am one where I adapt to people's the way that they learn. I have a whole business that I'm trying to start from that, which is Zip Learning Co. Because I have to create certain resources for my son that struggles with um, letter recognition. At one point, it was number recognition. My son has a speech issue where he drops consonants, and it's like certain words that he can't say. Because he has epilepsy, his memory is affected all the time. So I have to figure out all these different learning resources. I hate the fact that schools, it's like I get literacy and the ability to read, but when you kind of like this, oh wait, this is about to get into like political, but kind of like this whole like the budget bill, all these different things where they're clumping a lot of stuff into one and you can't really get it passed. When they go and they give a low grade for comprehension, because they're only testing comprehension by something that you read or via like a written type test, a standardized test. And that is how they're testing comprehension. But if you have a student that struggles with reading, that they just struggle with like reading, they're not going to be able to fully to properly answer those questions. But if they hurt because sometimes like how it is like they'll give you a story and they'll read it, and you have to answer certain questions about what you heard, and do you comprehend, do you have a full understanding of it? My son has a full understanding. When it comes to doing a math problem and you work that out with him and you're doing it, he understands it, he's able to do it. But now, if the question asks a certain way, he can't really tell what they're asking for. Did they want to know the difference? Did they want to know the sum? So he struggles with that. He struggles with word problems. So he ends up getting lower scores on that. If it's a story or if it's a situation and he reads it, you read it to him, he can hear it. He's going to be able to break down what the main character was, the this, the that, just not in a written form, not in like reading a question and answering like that. But if you take the time to speak with him, his comprehension is very high. But according to the schools, his comprehension is low. And so I ignore all of that bullcrap. I used to worry about grades and what that meant, and this stigma. Oh my God, your child makes straight F's. Your child makes D's. You suck as a parent. Your child is dumb. And I'm like, that's not the case. Like my child, his vocabulary is very, very, he has a great vocabulary, he has a great comprehension, he does well, but there are certain factors that affects how he learns. But the way that they test it, they will never understand how truly amazing and great and what Zani Mani knows as long as they're a standardized test. So I don't fuss about grades. My son on that, they just got their report card, and those were not grades that people would be proud of. There were some F's, there were some D's, but then they'll go and it's like, your son tries the hardest, but they are forced to give him this grade because of how testing is. So weird for your kids, for a kid to have an F1A, right? Conduct, amazing. Effort is there. He tries. He just can't get the grade based off of how they are required to conduct tests. So it was crazy to see F1A. That is absolutely insane. So I stopped stressing over grades. Now that older one though, he can't bring home no bad grades. But I this is a part of like parenting differently and knowing that according to the standard school settings, I won't have two honor students, like, and they're not the same. So yeah, I could never survive in teaching because I would not give a damn about none of their standards. I would go and be doing things that I'm going to make sure that these kids actually learn. I'm going to make sure that they have an understanding. If I got to sit there and read to them, if I have to conduct this test where we're going to do everything verbally, I would, and I would give them that grade and I would probably be fired. So no, I could never go and teach in the traditional space. Yes, my daughter is the same. The comprehension tests are ridiculous. Exactly. Yep. So yeah, I could never teach. That's a story another day. I might actually talk about that. And that's the other thing too. Like, I think I want more of a personal brand. There's a lot of things that happen in my life that I think others, especially who are entrepreneurs, or even if you're not, it would resonate with you, like dealing with the son with epilepsy, and all the challenges of that, and dealing with the challenges of schools. And on the flip side of that, it's not easy having a child that's an overachiever. And MJ is in all Cambridge and honors classes. He will hopefully have his AA by the time he graduates because he's like pushing himself. And I sometimes have mommy guilt about that. Like, am I pushing him too much? MJ has not missed a day of school since kindergarten. He's and really since pre-K, and he only missed one day because it led into like the weekend. But a kid gave him the pink eye, so he ended up missing like a Friday. And then by the time that Monday came around, he was able to go back to school. But since pre-K, MJ has missed one day of school. So I asked I'm always wondering, like, is that good in parenting? Where I'm like, no matter what, he wants to go on trips, or like if my family's going to go to, well, they were supposed to be going to Jamaica. Actually, if I think Jamaica for my niece's birthday next year. But they leave on like a Thursday. I'm always questioning myself as a mom, like, is it fair or am I wrong in not allowing my son to experience those things because I'm like, school comes first when the school system don't really care about them. So it's a lot of things that, like, I just want to have these discussions with people because I know there has to be others that face those same thoughts and same struggles. And I just want, that's more so what I want to do now. Like, I want to just be me. Oh, wow. That was refreshing to say. Like, I want to be able to make money, of course, like, I want to go to somebody's job, but I always feel like I have to monitor what I say or edit down what I say. I have to tiptoe around what I want to say because my platform is fully connected to my business. And it's like, oh, well, that's not craft related. That's not sublimation related. That's not design related. And I can't just be Shakeya the mom, Shakeya the wife. Like, I'm pretty sure, some people don't like to talk about like what goes on in their relationship, their marriage, like never like to put it down, but it's like, it's some, when you have to learn to compromise when you're not, that's not your natural thing to compromise and you're used to kind of doing your own thing. And when you choose to, like, there's so many things that I want to talk about and just kind of have platforms for. And this has felt like I couldn't do those things. So I want to be free to just to really like really decide it and just carve out my own path and not feel like I'm making decisions for others. So yeah, that's that. All right, y'all. I'm for real out of here. Whoever Eric is, I guess it wasn't the answer that they wanted because they never responded back. So I was only talking to see if they were going to respond back to see if they answered their question, but it didn't respond back. So I'm going to stop this before I hit 2 hours. Until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.